Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Five Kings Network YouTube channel. We're live tonight on the Five Kings Motorsports YouTube channel. We are very happy to be on board here tonight. Had a little bit of a busy day, wasn't able to get the intensity broadcast and the Fire Stick and the Roku, get all that in line, so I do apologize for that. But I know we're at Kentucky Motor Speedway tonight. This is quote unquote my state track. I'm from Kentucky. Recently, it lost its date in real life NASCAR. Hopefully, one day it might come back. But we're in a sim world. You see, it's beautiful out here today. Got a few clouds up in the sky, but not a whole lot. It's looking beautiful. Last week, I was joined up in the booth with Dalton Kilrow. He is actually having some major internet technical difficulties here lately. So, right now, I talked my good buddy Jason Raymond into coming and joining me into the booth tonight. This is going to be one of the first times he's ever called a race as a professional broadcaster, quote unquote. But Mr. Jason Raymond, how you doing tonight, brother?
Doing pretty good. I'm looking forward to see the action tonight. This is a pretty good track. I love watching races here, so let's hope we have a good show tonight.
If people remember correctly, this is the track that went out like with a bang. I mean, you had Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, they were just battling it out. You had Cole Custer sneaking in, getting him a win. Kentucky, it was famous for being really bumpy the first few years it was on the schedule, and then they started to repave it. They got it a little bit smoother. This used to be Brad Keselowski's playhouse. He would come here and just, it seemed like any time the Cup Cars or Xfinity Series was at Kentucky, if Brad Keselowski gritted up, he was going to win that night. Then they repaved it. And once they hit Kentucky with the repave, they got it a little bit smoother. They did take a little bit of character out of it, but got the track a little bit smoother, and I think it really produced some really great racing. Some great racing that I'm expecting here tonight. Had Martinsville last week. Eddie Smith brought home the win. That was win number 5 of the season. Can he go for number 6 tonight? We're about to find out. We're a few minutes away from going into qualifying, so just buckle up, hold on tight, and we're going to see if Eddie Smith can go back to back since the debut win last week on the Five Kings Network at Martinsville brought home the win.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's definitely a storyline to watch. I caught the tail end of that race last week. It was a pretty good race. I was watching. I was noticing earlier that this is a pretty hot track right now. The track temp's sitting at 121 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's probably going to be really loose, and that's definitely something to keep an eye on, as we saw that last week in Martinsville.
Absolutely. So last week we was under the lights at Martinsville. Today, middle of the daytime, air temp, we're sitting right at 86 degrees, so not super hot. A beautiful bluegrass day in Kentucky, but that track temp, like Jason just said, partly cloudy. The sun is just beaming down on this track, and it's heating it up. It's 121 degrees on the track temperature as far as the surface. So that's going to mean slipping and sliding. As practice is getting finished up here, I'm interested to see the line these guys are going to choose to run. I think it's going to be the bottom. I mean, that's just what you kind of would think, but you never really know. I mean, you can come here in these cup cars and try to switch it up a little bit as we await to see a driver head out on the track here. Not we got Mr. Shepard going to go out here and try to see what type of lap he can put down. We got Charlie Gates Jr. and Joey Bashimi out on track here. This is one of them tracks where, although passing is not super hard to do, you still want to get up front because you don't have a fast repair in your pocket. You don't want to be towards the back because that puts you at risk of being in a caution. If you're out front, you got the least amount of cars out your windshield. That's the least amount of chance somebody's going to make a minor mistake that leads into a nightmare. As you see, the 43, he's going to drive it down to the black seam, not necessarily the yellow line. That black seam is going to be the driver. Ooh, actually gets to the wall. So as we know, iRacing, that is not going to count his lap. Got into the wall there. Unfortunately, he's going to reset and re-rack and go back in the pits.
Yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. They only have 2 laps of qualifying here, so
Ooh, we see
basically
another
he's
driver,
down to
Jason.
one now.
Philip Mansell just got loose coming out of turn 2 there. The car just snapped around on him. He was able to save that machine. That's a very good looking car. That might be one of Smill Racing Design's best paint schemes of the night contenders right there. That 44 machine of Philip Mansell. As Daniel D. Cunningham, he was running up front a lot last week. He's showing that he's not just a short track ringer. He's currently P1, but ooh, Zach Wilson just edged him out. Zach Wilson put up a 30.83. That's to Daniel D. Cunningham's 30.87. Will Daniel be faster this time around? Let's wait and see. He's coming out of turn 4 here. He's trying to run that high lane to get as much momentum as he can. Dips down low at the line. Wasn't able to get him. Was a little bit slower that time by. So you got Zach Wilson in that 29 machine currently sitting P1. As we see Mr. Five-time Eddie Smith coming here. I'm not sure if this is his out lap. That put him P2 on the board. He's 300s off Zach Wilson here, Jason.
Oh yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he can pick up the pace just a little bit here on the second lap as he heads out of turn 2 down the backstretch.
Usually the second lap is the fastest lap. You get a little bit of heat in your tires. One thing we don't know what the setup feels like. Like I said, we got in here really late, had a super busy day, doing the best we can do. You see Eddie Smith take it down low. Let's see if he updates his time. Was 100th faster that lap, so went from a 30.86 to a 30.85. Currently got him sitting P2 on the outside of row number 1.
Yeah, that's actually a good place to start. I was watching here in practice, and there was actually some guys running the higher line, so you might see a two groove race coming in later on. Or I feel like it's definitely a multi groove track. I mean, everybody has different lines they like to run. That's definitely something to watch. We'll see that playing into effect later on.
Jason, before we get going hot and heavy here, why don't you send us over to our sponsor? Who is our presenting sponsor of this series for us here tonight in the Saturday Night Send It Cup Series?
That would be Jason Reisman Insurance and Keswick. Get insured at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. And then the secondary sponsor, we got Seth Griffith. Thanks to big shout out to those guys for sponsoring this series here.
That's
Now,
Keswick Group. You can get yourself insured at Reisman at getinsured@gmail.com. Give them a look, see. They will hook you up. I promise you, affordable and friendly. You don't beat it, you can't beat it. As we see, these drivers are finishing up. We're getting ready to give out the pole award. I'm not sure who it is yet. We have to give it about another 20 seconds and we'll find out who's going to bring home the Chuck Pegleg Phelps pole award here tonight. As we're waiting, we're going to wait. We're going to do it correctly this time. We actually forgot it last week. I do apologize, Mr. Pegleg Phelps. It's looking as if Mr. Zach Wilson in the 29 is going to be your pole award winner this week. Going to be starting P1. Going to have Garrett Kinder, a very fast contender in that 13 machine, to his outside. They actually bumped Eddie Smith. Going to be starting in the inside row number 2 here tonight. As we're going to come over here and take a look at our race grid just momentarily. Oh, actually, wait. I think they do 10 minutes qualifying, Jason.
yes, they do indeed. And as you were saying that, we had Jonah Colbert come up there and take the pole position with a
Ooh.
30.786.
So Mr. Pegleg Phelps said, hold up on giving out my award. It is not time yet. I do apologize for that. I forgot. They offer 10 minutes of qualifying. Jonah Colbert just put it up. P1 coming around for lap number 2. Ultimately, I missed it because I did not think anybody else was qualifying. Mr. Charles Stephen Jr. going to put it on the apron and park it. We do have a couple drivers still out. Dave Jones in the number 10 Ford Mustang. This is his out lap, so we're going to get to see. Well, this may be his actual first lap, but he has not put up a lap yet. So Coming out of turn 4 here, going to walk it down to that apron. You can gain so much speed just by going down that hill, Mr. Dave Jones. P22 that time by, see if you can get a little bit faster.
And you said you can gain a lot of speed going down on that apron, but you also got to be kind of careful with that. The car can get really upset when you dip down onto the off the banking on the front stretch, and could be along for a ride at that point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the banking from the track to the apron, it ends so abruptly that it can upset the car. Another thing that's going to be a storyline here tonight. You get drivers that are going too wide on the front stretch. If that guy that's riding in the middle of the track or on the high lane, he can't just automatically assume that driver underneath him is going to go down there to use that apron. Because if he does and he cuts down there, then what do you have? I mean, you got a collision then. They're gonna meet in the middle. It's gonna be two cars fighting for the same real estate. Mr. Dave Jones brought it in P23, got a little bit faster a second lap around, but ultimately wasn't enough to climb up the board drastically. As we got new names up front, Mr. Steve Loving in the 27, then we got Aaron Adcock in the number 23 Chevy Silverado. You can tell I called a truck race last night. The Chevy Camaro brought it in P2 off about 200ths of a second. Let's see if Mr. Loving, he didn't get faster on his second lap, was a little bit slower the first lap. I'm noticing a trend here. I'm noticing the first lap out for a majority of these drivers are actually faster the second time around tonight, Jason, versus the first lap.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around. Usually the second lap out. Well, I mean, at least on short track guy, but usually the second lap out's faster. You get the momentum from the first lap, but definitely is not that way tonight.
As we have Josh Smith coming in at 47, Chevy Camaro coming to the line. This will be his second lap. He's currently sitting P21 on the grid. Let's see if he's able to get any better. He was a little bit slower as well his second lap. So that's interesting to see. The first lap's been the quickest for most of these drivers here tonight. This is my man right here, Jason Warren. This dude right here is a wheel man. He actually, as he wrecks coming off pit lane being goofy. This man right here, you put him on a short track, he is dominant. He did not race last week at Martinsville. I'm not sure if he had technical difficulties or what. But as you see, he's coming out on track now. I want to say that those times in the top 5, they are not safe when Jason Warren brings his car off pit road.
He crosses the line for his first lap. Technically his out lap. Now onto his first lap. He goes into turn 1 here.
He's electing to run about the middle of the track. You notice that, Jason? We've seen some drivers run the very bottom, hugging that yellow line. Other drivers are using that black seam, basically, where it gets a little bit darker. Jason was running a little bit above that. It's a beautiful 32 look machine, too.
Indeed it is. I really do like that paint scheme. As he's coming out of turn 4 here for his first lap, let's see
Ooh,
if
got
he
a blink.
blinks out.
Got a blink. Is he still having technical issues? Oh, qualifying ended. He did not get in time.
Oh,
So our Chuck Pegleg Phelps pole award goes to Mr. Steve Loving. As we go to the grid here, going to get our grid situated here. There you have it, folks. Pegleg Phelps pole award goes to Mr. Steve Loving out of JBR Motorsports and the number 27 machine. Starting on the outside of row number 1, you got Aaron Adcock. P3 will be Jonah Colbert with Zach Wilson starting to his outside of the RTR Motorsports. Rounding out your top 5 is Kinder and Farm and Ranch's own Garrett Kinder from Reaper Racing. Eddie Smith, that's Mr. 5-time out of JC Motorsports in the number 87. He'll be rolling off P6. P7 is one of the Smill Racing Designs contenders for the best paint schemes last week. That's Virginia's own Daniel D. Cunningham. P8 will be Kai Shepard out of Extreme Motorsports 43. P9 and P10, you got Cameron Combs, and then you got Christopher Heiner rounding out the top 10. Mickey Isaac with a very strong qualifying qualifying job there. Put himself right outside the top 10, starting P11. Chris Reese will be going P12. As we move further on down, Mr. Pegleg, Chuck Phelps himself out of JBR Motorsports, starting P13. Josh Lokovitz and Brian Fine, that's running out your top 15 Syndic Cup Series starters. Sam Wetstein, T.S. Swank, Charles Stephen Jr., Justin Ray, and Justin Hendry. That's running out your top 20. And you got Josh Smith out of Oval Addicts piloting the number 47 machine, brought it in P21. Spencer Gay out of Big Fish Motorsports, number 69, starting P22. Joey Bashimi in that number 8 machine. He's a very tough contender. I'm actually a little surprised to see him this far down on the grid. Currently brought it in P23 with Dave Jones on his outside. Moving a little bit further down, got a lot of drivers out here. We got Philip Manzo. That's Mr. Manzo from Manzo Motorsports, and that 44 is a beautiful machine. We saw him get a little bit loose. That's right. He's your final top 25 qualifier. You got Tyler Rice, 26, Charlie Gates Jr., 27th, Jason, Mr. Short Track Warren from Team Peacemaker, number 32 machine, rolling off P28. Tyler Gachek, P29, with William Griffith out of Reaper Racing. He is rounding out your top 30 with Kyle Roberts and Brandon Wallace. I'm pretty sure rounding out the grid. Yes, they are. As we hit the race info really quick before these drivers get going, we're in Sparta, Kentucky with a track length of 1.46 miles. Got an altitude of 54 feet. It's a really, really challenging oval, 86 degrees. These boys are getting ready to get locked and loaded for, man, oh man, what's going to be a great race. I know it is. As we're waiting for that pace truck, it's a Silverado. You remember the last time we got that Silverado? That beautiful Silverado makes that hard left-hand turn. We're getting ready to be 133 laps here at Kentucky Motor Speedway for the Syndic Cup Series Saturday night. This is where the thunder and the magic happens, fellas. If you need a series to join, Original Rebels own iRacing. They are your one-stop shop for short track or any type of racing. As you see, the 23 of Aaron Adcock actually gets a really good jump. Let's bring the 51 machine of... I'm not sure who the 51 is, so that's a misplaced name, I do believe. You got Zach Wilson and the 87 of Eddie Smith trying to jockey for position. Got to get everything you can on these restarts.
Oh yeah, for sure. Restarts and all starts are definitely a good place to pick off some positions there, as you see a pass for second.
So I'm noticing Eddie Smith is not waiting long. He's trying to get himself up there in position. Like I said, you want to have the least amount of cars out you. Look at this. There's cars everywhere. You mentioned it earlier. Multiple grooves. You can race on the high lane, low lane, middle lane. It don't matter. If it's on the racing surface, you can be there and you can be fast there. And just want to hit a update. That's actually Zach Wilson. He's currently the 29 car, but iRacing is showing him, or his paint scheme is showing as a 51. So Zach Wilson. I do apologize for messing that up, and I'll probably mess it up again. That's a good looking paint scheme as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good looking paint schemes out here.
As we go a little bit further on the back in the pack, Daniel D. Cunningham has lost 3 positions since they took the green flag. Currently got Cameron Combs in the 15 hounding him, but he was able to slide up in front of Cameron there and going to hold that 10th place position as Cameron Combs and Josh Lokovitz. Man, they are riding that high lane right now.
Oh yeah, we're already seeing it. I thought the multi-group was gonna come later in the race, but we're seeing guys up the wall. We're seeing them way down at the bottom, and definitely one of the things that I love to watch about racing is where the driver is gonna choose to go.
As you see, the 15 actually decided to go low that time. It's going to give Daniel D. Cunningham with a 54 Ford Mustang, that Rowdy Energy car, going to give him great momentum down the back stretch, and he was ultimately able to clear Cameron Combs without a problem. You see Logan Vince still up there in that 79 machine. He's gained 2 spots since they gridded. He's currently trying to work over Cameron Combs. Not able to do it just yet, but I am noticing that driver's not afraid to run that high lane. Look at the momentum he just gained right there. My, oh my. I mean, he cleared the gap big right there onto the 54.
I just went and looked at the comments, and I got some information that Jonah Colbert won a Xfinity Season 2 championship last night, and Zach Wilson won the race. So congratulations to those guys on those achievements.
So Jonah Colbert came out and won the Friday Night Xfinity Series. I'm telling you, original racing, original Rebels Racing Series. Sorry, I'll get it out eventually. They offer so many types of racing. They got Xfinity, they got trucks, they got Cup Series, but then they also have a quote unquote sister series. That's the Thunderstruck Series. They run super late models and then they run tour modifieds. Check them out. They're a real good group of guys. As you see, things are kind of settling down for Mr. Aaron, that 23 machine of Apex Sim Racing on the side of it. He's looking pretty stout out front. You got Steve Loving being hounded right now by Zach Wilson to see if Zach's able to make the move on him going to the inside. I think as this race goes on, Jason, we're going to see that high lane is just where you want to be at here.
Oh yeah, I'm already starting to see that it's hard to make a pass on the bottom super early on. The guys on the outside are just getting such a great run. It's hard for those guys on the bottom to actually put the power down. They have to worry about the sliding up and trying to keep their car off the guy on the outside.
So we talked about Jason Warren during qualifying. Jason Warren started 28th. He's currently up 11 spots, running 17th right now. You saw him look underneath, try to Justin Hendry right there. Thought better of it because he's seeing that battle up in front of him. I think Jason's going to be patient right here and just let it come to him as it comes.
That's probably the smart thing to do. Super early on in the race, you know, what's the issue? I don't know. I don't know what pit stop are looking like. I don't know tire information or anything, but
they have
you know, just
6 tires in the pits, Jason.
Okay, that's nice to know. But still, I mean, I wouldn't push super hard too early on. I know every spot's valuable, but it's early on. You don't want to push the issue and maybe cause yourself some damage to the car at all.
You just, with no fast repair, and you just look out Jason Warren's windshield here. He's running 17th right now, so there's 16 fast guys in front of him. Him not being able to get a qualifying lap in really stinks for him. He's going to have to use his equipment up, but do it with a little bit of strategy to try to get himself up front, but also do it in a clean and polite way, we'll call it. As we go on back a little bit, we got Mr. Brian Fine in that number 57 with the Rush on the side. Looks like Bush beer, but it's not. It's that Fine machine. Number 57, Brian Fine, Toyota Camry out here. Running 23 right now. Has lost 8 positions since we went to the grid. So that's either telling me he may have got loose, had a little bit of a mistake, lost some momentum, or that driver's thinking big picture. He may be playing chess where everybody else is playing checkers.
I'm back now. I was in a stuff was freezing up for a second, but I am back and I'm ready to call some great action once again.
You see, they are racing like they're racing up front around the back. That's why I love this series. It's so competitive that even if you're running 15th, you're still having to race hard because everybody around you is super, super quick. I talked to William Griffith today. We'll actually try to spotlight him right now. Currently running 24th. He's up 6 spots. But talked to William Griffith through PMs a little bit today. He gave me a little bit of information. He said he thought they could go about 30, 35 laps on a tank of fuel that they are provided. And that Kentucky was not one of his favorite tracks. So we will have to wait and see if he changes that tone a little bit as this race goes on. Currently gaining 6 spots, running 24th.
You know, you can't really say. I mean, I know people say it, but people say it's not one of their favorite tracks. But by personal experience, that usually puts some fire under me to do better. Knowing favorite tracks, so we'll see if he can work his way up front and be a contender.
Jason, I noticed right here. Sorry to interrupt you, but that 99 of Brandon Wallace just got lapped, and we actually missed it on stream. Eddie Smith, Zach Wilson, they got by Mr. Aaron of the 23 machine. He may have had a mistake, got a little bit loose, but that Brandon Wallace 99 machine had quite a bit of damage, so something may have happened back in the pack that we didn't know, but, I mean, no caution was through, so maybe he got just into the wall or something, but he had significant damage on the right side.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, this track, the wall comes up quickly on the corner exit, and it may not look like it, but that's definitely something that these guys have to worry about. I mean, personal experience once again, that wall does come up quick, and there's also seems to be like a bump on some of the corner exits, like a little hill that does not like help with the wall situation
It's
either.
like a tunnel underneath the track. That's why they get the haulers in and stuff like that. But yeah, so there's a little bit of a hump on corner exit. And you got to think, we've already seen drivers like Josh Lokenvitz. He was ripping the high lane. So if Brandon Wallace was trying to do that, when you try to drive that high lane, you got to be completely focused. As you see slight contact back there, I think that was Steve Loving and Aaron Adcock. So Adcock got up there and led like the first 12, 13 laps, but currently falling back right now.
As we see Garrett Kinder battling with the 27 of Steve Loving, so these guys are battling out for position number 3 and 4.
Yes, they are. And Garrett is trying to win that Smills Racing Designs best paint scheme of the night. He came with a pink one last week, has a black and yellow one this week. Looking beautiful. That's that Kinder Farm and Ranch machine.
I'm also seeing more information about the league. The ARCA series ran checker to checker here last night. It was only half the distance of this race, but if you're looking for a development series, there's a 200 I rating, 2,000 I rating in the ARCA series here. So if you're looking
That
for somewhere to start, definitely check these guys out.
that went flag to flag. That means no caution, folks. You're just out there and you're racing half the distance of this race. So they did probably about 60 laps or so.
E67.
So that's going to be something to look forward to tonight. I mean, if they went that long without cautions, this is a tough track. But when you get this much talent out there on the track, they can just will this thing. We've seen a little bit of beating and banging between Aaron and Steve earlier, that 27 and 23 machine, respectfully. But no harm, no foul. Those drivers were able to keep it going straight, looking straight out the windshield.
We're starting to see some guys fan out here, starting to get a little separated, but there's a battle heating up towards the front of the field, first and second, as Zach Wilson and Eddie Smith are about 1/10 as
Ooh,
we have
we
a
have a
caution.
caution out on the track. Next, we're going to go to the Kinder's Farm and Ranch wreckage replay. Want to see what happened here. Okay, iRacing showed me the leaders. Let's try that again, folks. Okay, it's still showing me the leaders. Here we go, Mr. Charles Stevens Jr. in the 88 machine. Ooh, gets clipped a little bit by, is that Lokenvitz? I do think so. He might be okay there, though, Jason. Didn't seem like he got a whole lot of damage. Might want to go down pit lane, give it a look and see down pit lane. Pit road will not be open yet. It's getting ready to open for these drivers. We're 21 laps in, 6 sets of tires in the pits. What are you thinking here, Jason? You think we're going to have a busy pit road?
I feel like we'll see a lot of the guys come down for fuel, as you said earlier, that they have about 30 to 35 laps on the tank, but I'm not sure about the tire situation. I know they have 6 sets and everything, but personally, I might want to hold on and maybe wait a little bit longer, see what everybody else does, see if the fresh tires are really a big deal here.
I don't know though, Jason. It looks like these cars are starting to lean on that right rear. I'm starting to see some guys step out. As you're going to see Eddie Smith, he's leading them all down the cliff. Is Zach Wilson going to fake? No, he's not. He's going to go. So we got a busy pit lane. Who's going to win the race off pit road? Like we said earlier, not only do you got to get everything you can on these restarts, but you need to do it on pit road as well. As you see, a very busy pit lane. That may be all the drivers except one that stayed out, and that might be Brandon Wallace, who was a lap down but should get his lucky dog this time
Oh,
by.
it looks like 2 stayed
Yeah, we
out. I
had
can go
two of
check
them.
and see here.
So the 99 of Brandon Wallace, and I'm trying to look and see who this driver is coming now. I'm still learning some paint schemes, folks.
Ah,
So
it went by
bear,
too fast. I couldn't
right? Yeah,
tell who it was.
they were a blur. So I've learned a lot of the paint schemes in here, but not everybody. As it looks like Mr. Jason Warren brought himself up to P2, if this is correct. I think we're seeing a little bit of strategy there. He didn't get his qualifying lap in. So I don't know. This could be dangerous for him. He could be a sitting duck if he didn't take any tires, or maybe he only took 2 tires. There's a way I can check that with uh, SDK, but I'm really not sure how to do it. It's telling me everybody else had about a 14-second pit stop, and then it's telling me Jason Warren did not have any, but he went down pit lane. Because Jason Warren had a 33.35 pit lane time, meaning time spent on pit road. As you see, he's going back in. I think Jason Warren overshot his pit box that time.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Has to drop back, but that's I'm gonna go back and check that, see what happened there on pit road.
That's the good thing about having somebody up in the booth with us, because it was a very busy pit road. Jason has a 28th pit stall because he started 28th, so it was probably really congested right there. Just let us know, Jason, on what you see there. That's going to give the lead up to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson actually beat Eddie Smith off, had about a 3/10 faster pit stop, and that allowed him to get off pit road just a little bit quicker than that 87 machine.
We're going back now. I just found out where he was. A lot of drivers in here. Took me a minute to find it.
You're all good. Lights are still on the pace truck. That beautiful Chevy Silverado, I might add.
See, he's rolling down pit road now. Haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, it looks like he just rolled down pit road. I'm not sure if unless he couldn't see his pit box. Yeah, he just rolled all the way through pit road.
So just missed his pit box. I think the lights are going to go off on that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Chevy Silverado. I wonder if y'all can tell what type of car I drive in real life, or truck I drive in real life.
You know, I remember last time I commentated a race with you. I'm gonna guess we hear beautiful Chevy Silverado about 10 more times before this race is over. Even if he sees it on pit road, he loves that Chevy Silverado.
I mean, look at it. It is just beautiful. It has the look of an old school Silverado, like the box Chevy, mixed in with a little bit of modern style. I'm not a big fan of the new Silverados, though.
As
Lights
the
are off.
lights
Yep.
are, yeah, they are indeed off.
Lights are off on the pace truck. Mr. Zach Wilson. They do have lane choice in this series. Zach Wilson elected to take the bottom lane. Our viewers that are out there on the FiveKings Motorsports YouTube channel, let us know. Let Jason, he can read them right now. Let us know. What driver are you rooting for? Who's your pick to win tonight? Who do you think's not going to win tonight? Who's going to drive over their head? Who's going to cause the next caution? Just tell us anything. Get you some airtime and maybe get your favorite driver mentioned a few more times on this FiveKings Network broadcast brought to you live on the FiveKings Motorsports YouTube channel.
So I'm not sure about the rules. Is the restart on leader or is that also on green?
From the way it looked last week, Jason, restarts are on leader. I need to ask all these questions. I meant to do it this week, and I'll be honest, I forgot. I can't lie. As you see, Zach Wilson makes him wait a little bit, gets a great jump. Trying to bring Garrett Kendrick in that 13 machine with him, not able to actually do it, though. That's going to leave that 50-87 of Eddie Smith going to clear Garrett Kendrick going in turn 2. They're racing coming out of turn 2, going down the backstretch.
As drivers start to single file out, that's something we didn't touch on. It's, drivers trying to single file out as soon as possible, and then being able to pick off drivers one by one, as we see some battling still going on with the 54 and 23 back here.
So we saw the 23 of Aaron Adcock come up there and led the first, what do you think, 12, 13 laps of this race. Had a little bit of a mix-up, got into it with another driver slightly. He fell back. Now he's trying to race his way back up. We mentioned it before. When you're double filing these restarts, you got to get everything you can, because it's a whole lot easier to pass multiple cars versus whenever you get stretched out single file, then you got to really work over that driver in front of you.
You know, Tanner, I got my own little helper in here in the channel. We got in the chat we got no neck 019. The start of races on green and all others are on leader. So there's our question
Right
and our
there.
answer.
Awesome. Awesome. So he's got our back if we have a question. Give him a shout out one more time. What's his YouTube name?
No neck 019.
It might be Jesse Nekula, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He is the commissioner over this series.
Well, that would make sense then.
Yep, he's definitely going to know the rules as it's heating up front. We actually missed it again. I cannot believe we're missing all these league changes, but it's racing everywhere on the track. Eddie Smith just took P1 away from Zach Wilson.
And he's actually starting to pull away a little bit. He's got about a 2.5 car length gap, maybe 3. It's kind of hard to tell, but he's got a decent gap now ever since he took the lead there.
Want to give an update on the 99 machine of Brandon Wallace. He did get his lap back, but I think he fell 2 laps down because he's currently only 1 lap down. So still not on the lead lap yet. But if another caution was to fall, as long as he gets not into the incident or causes the caution, he will end up gaining back that lap and being on the lead lap and racing these boys. But yeah, Eddie Smith, he has opened it up over Zach Wilson to almost 7/10 of a second, right at 6/10 of a second now. Dude, as you see, Eddie Smith, he's putting the power down. As I heard,
sure. He has definitely extended the lead there. These guys are starting to pretty much all be single filed out now.
folks, I do apologize. I'm hearing reports we're not able to hear the cars on stream, so I will have to pull up my sound just really fast. Let's get it to where y'all can hear a little bit of the cars. And please do let us know if it sounds any better or if it needs to be louder. Just let us know that, please. Like for y'all to be able to hear them a little bit, but not it be intrusive. As I go over and check OBS, they might be a little bit too loud now, but we'll wait for y'all to let us know and tell us. We got in late. I got in about 4 or 5 minutes before this broadcast went live. Had a fantasy draft, had stuff I had to do this morning with family. So I was really, really busy today, but we're still out here. We're still trying.
As our guy, our friend here in chat, Nonak, he said he can hear them on YouTube. He said not too bad on YouTube. He said it's a little loud, but no need to change. And I found out it is Matt Nonek Lehman. I probably pronounced your last name wrong. Sorry if I did. He said he's one of the admins here.
Okay. He said it's a little bit loud though.
Yeah, he said not too bad on YouTube, a little loud, but
I think that's all we're streaming on is YouTube. I'm not sure. Maybe we're on Facebook. I'm not 100% positive here, but I tell you one driver that knows exactly what's going on here. That's Mr. Eddie Smith in that number 87 machine. He is currently, I don't know though. Look, as soon as I said that, it's that commentary bug right there. That 51 machine of Zach Wilson starting to close that door in on that driver 87, pulling Garrett Kendra and the 27 of Steve Loving and Jonah Colbert all back there. You can almost throw a blanket over the top 5.
if I'm not mistaken, is this what we saw earlier in the race? We saw Eddie Smith jump out to a lead, and Zach Wilson was able to close back up the gap. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like Zach Wilson has a long run car compared to Zach Smith, who's really good on short run.
And now this is a fixed setup. They're all running the same setup, so it could just be a thing of maybe Zach was kind of saving a little bit at the start and then started working the car a little bit. Or the car could just be, like you said, it may be a preference deal. He may be actually starting to really feel it now. But I tell you, another driver that's really feeling it. It's Eddie Smith. He's feeling the pressure from Zach Wilson in that 51 Rowdy, or not Rowdy Energy, but 51 machine. That's normally Rowdy Energy. It's a good looking 51 machine nonetheless.
There's a lot of good looking paint schemes out here.
There really is.
I like a lot of these cars. And I like this speed shot right here as we're getting from the back bumper of Eddie Smith.
Let you hear the roar of the engine a little bit. You hear that driver? He's having to lift a little bit. He has to lift a little bit, but Not a whole lot of time off throttle, just enough to get the car to settle down, to rotate the corner, and then you're just hard right back into the gas.
Because I personally have never ran these cars here, so I'm not sure what it's like, but it seems to be producing some really good racing. So that might be something I can try. But we're seeing Eddie Smith start to kind of string out the lead again a little bit. Zach Wilson was right on his bumper at one point. Now it's about 1 car length gap between first and second.
Watch this flyby shot. That's just like real life. I mean, that's how it looks on TV there. That's one awesome camera view. iRacing has provided us. But I've noticed that Eddie Smith, he's able to kind of manage the gap. Yes, Zach Wilson has closed it down to 2/10, but it's staying about right there. It's not getting really... I mean, Zach Wilson occasionally gets a little bit closer, but then Eddie Smith, he kind of opens it back up slightly. So it may be a game of cat and mouse here more than anything.
I'm also noticing the gap between first and second is relatively the same between second and third.
You are right, but now Garrett Kendrick, I'm telling you, it's the commentary bug. As soon as you mention something, the opposite happens. And Garrett Kendrick's closing in on the bumper of that 51 machine. Going to try to look a little bit above him, maybe try to get the run off the high side, get there and pressure that driver in front of him. This is what I was talking about earlier, folks. Once you get single filed out, you get a little bit of gaps or different clusters of cars on the racetrack, then you really got to work over that driver that's right there in front of you, lined up in front of you. And that's what Garrett Kendrick in that 13 machine, he's trying to work over Zach. He wants to force Zach to make a mistake. Make Zach drive looking in the mirror instead of looking out the windshield. Because that's when mistakes are prone to happening. Whether that's on a short track, a plate track, or Kentucky Motor Speedway like where we're at here today.
I'm getting requests in chat over here to put the ticker on the top of the stream, as it is actually not there, and I did not notice.
Yes, I got rid of it a while ago to do our sound and forgot it. Sorry, chat. Sorry for that. We're still learning as we go here. As we're going to go further on back in the pack here. Let's get an update. Let's check in Mr. Manzo, see how he's running. We saw him do a few qualifying laps. Currently running P27, down 2 spots from where he gridded, but Phillips the type of driver where he don't get too excited. He reminds me a lot of Joshua Sexton. He comes out here, he'll run out of a 133 lap race, he'll run 100 laps just normal, but them last 33 laps, he's ready to get it then. So I think what we're seeing here with Mr. Manzo is patience and trying to save his equipment over the long run.
And patience is definitely a key here. It's a long race, a big track. Obviously, you don't want to be too patient and go a lap down, but you know, it's definitely a smart thing to do, and not push the car, maybe make a mistake, and just kind of run around and wait until it's your time to start picking them up and hunt the front.
So I did notice that we didn't think Charles Stevens Jr. got a lot of damage, but if you look at his rear bumper, rear clip on that car, it does have significant damage, and that's not what Brandon Wallace wanted to see, because now Charles Stevens is 1 lap down, and I think, no, maybe he's not actually a lap down. You can confirm with me or not if he is a lap down, but if Charles Stevens is a lap down, that's going to take the lucky dog spot away from Brandon Wallace unless he can get up there and catch that driver.
Currently, he is not a lap down.
Okay, so the field is trying to get to him. So maybe he's not down on power. Maybe the car is just cosmetically hurt, but not hurt as far as speed. Look at Mr. Chuck Phelps, Mr. Pegleg out here. That's that number 75 machine. When I used to race in this series almost a year ago now, Chuck Phelps, one of the nicest guys you can ever meet. I got into a call with him one night. We talked on a Discord chat for about an hour just talking. And man, oh man, that guy is something special. He's a true, down-to-earth guy. Most genuine guy you can get. That's Mr. Pegleg Phelps. That is the sponsor of the Poe Award in this series. Mr. Pegleg, Chuck Phelps.
As we come up on lap 45 here, we got Eddie Smith out front by now. It's still 2 tenths, so it's not growing, but I mean it is getting it there. The gap is extending a little bit, but he's Zach Wilson's still hanging right with him, and anything's possible here. And I'm not sure if draft is a huge thing here. I haven't tested it.
There is some draft benefits, not like what you would see at Talladega or anything like that, but there's something we haven't mentioned. Eddie Smith has all that clean air out his front on his front end. There's also big benefits to clean air, especially in these Cup cars. Got nothing upsetting the car out in front of you, so you're just able to drive.
You know, it's always nice to see nothing out your windshield. You just kind of run your race and kind of take your time, and don't worry about the mirror too much. Obviously, I'm sure he's looking at it, but you just don't want to look at it too much because then you start driving differently and you make a mistake. As
That's when
the
mistakes
gap
are happening.
between Zach Wilson and Eddie Smith has actually closed a little bit.
It just
Not
keeps
too
going
much,
back
but
and forth, back and forth. I have noticed though, our top three right here, they have broke away from the pack a little bit. As you see, Jonah Colbert, he's actually almost 1.7 seconds off of third place Garrett Kinder. So those top three drivers are showing they have really consistent, great race pace. How it's going to be over the extended long run periods is yet to see. But so we ended up going to caution. I can't even remember what lap it was. I think we came back around, we'll guess lap 20 or so. And they've been green now for almost 30 laps. We heard today from Mr. Griffith in the 12 machine that they can go about 35 laps. Now, I do believe that was a guess on his part, but an educated guess nonetheless. So, if that is the case, these drivers have to be getting close to green flag pit stops into that pit stop window.
oh yeah, for sure. And I just went back and I looked. The caution fell on lap 20, so they're about 30 laps in. You're right on the money right there.
As we're going to give another update to Jason Warren. He's kind of just riding right now, I do believe. Running P20. We saw him miss his pit box. Thought he gained a lot of spots, but it came to actually missing the pit box. Had to go back in. Lost all the track position he gained. He's currently up 9 spots. I do believe our biggest mover thus far right now as it sits in the race is Tyler Gachette in that 16 machine. That's an A&W looking car. It actually is A&W. Okay, I saw it go by pretty quick. I wasn't sure if it was A&W root beer or not, but it absolutely is. As you see, look at that 4 wide on the camera shot right then. Jason Warren's ripping the high side. He's going to try to pass a few cars right there. Looks like he's going to be able to make it stick. Was able to clear them drivers on the front stretch coming to the start finish line.
With 51 laps in here, I'm interested to see the strategy start to play out, as you mentioned a couple moments ago. It's definitely something I also like about these longer races and bigger tracks where it gets to be spread out, is the strategy that is being played. That could win or make or break your race, actually.
Absolutely. Strategy in these long style races like these. So this series is 50% Cup Series length. And actually, we have pit road starting to come into effect. We have Charlie Gates Jr. entered pit lane here. Let's see what he does right here. Taking right side tire, so I'm guessing 4 Mr. Goodyear Feel Goods, Mr. Eagles, and probably some Sunoco fuel in that number 55 Ford Mustang. But that driver now, he's a lap down. Brandon Wallace didn't want to see any other drivers go laps down, but Charlie Gates Jr. is now shown as a lap down after electing to do a green flag pit stop. Usually, Jason, once that first driver elects to go down pit lane, normally that breaks the ice. Now, sometimes it does have to be a driver that's closer to the front of the field, but once somebody within the top 10 pits, that basically forces the hands of the rest of the drivers to make a decision. Either make their bed, lay in it, and don't pit for tires, run that fuel as far as you can, or you go ahead and pit fairly quick after that other driver pitted. That way you don't lose a lot of time to them, because they're going to be on fresh rubber and turn in about a second faster lap than what you're able to do on old rubber.
Oh, yeah, you know, once you see somebody pit, it opens up pit road. Everybody starts to wonder what they should do, and then the strategy's coming in. But I also wanna thank No Neck here in the chat again. He said that the 16's last name is pronounced Gatke. Now we know
Gatke.
that.
Gatke. So I raced against Tyler quite a bit. Ooh, caution is out on the speedway. Chris Reese and Aaron Adcock or whatever. Maybe you'll help me pronounce that one too. I'm just a good old boy from Kentucky, but a guy that got out front and led quite a bit of laps. That 23 machine was caught up in the incident right there. Tough break for Charlie Gates Jr. too, who just pitted and went a lap down. Let's see what happened here. I don't know why it's doing that. Every time I go to the yellow flag, it goes to the view of that. Let's see here. We got Chris Reese in the 62 machine. Ooh, gets into the back of the 23 a little bit. Turns him head on into the outside wall. 23 loses his front clip. 62 loses his front clip. That's going to be a tough break for both them drivers. That's going to be hard to fight back for. But when you're in a season like these boys are in, you got to think big picture. You got to think points battle. So you need to get that machine fixed on pit road. Have your pit crew tape it up, do the best they can do, and try to get out there and gain some very valuable points.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned earlier no faster. As you're mentioning right now, also the points battle and very valuable points. You know, it may be frustrating knowing that your car is not going to be as good as it was before the wreck, but you got to tough it out and stay out there for the points. And like you said, think big picture.
Absolutely. If you stay out there, say there's another driver that blows his motor 10 laps from now, and that means they can't continue there. I mean, their race is virtually done. Yeah, they can sit in the pits for 40 minutes or whatever, get it fixed. But other than that, I mean, their race is done. So that could be a spot you gain if you're able to go out there and turn some laps. Let's see what our leader here came in as a leader, Eddie Smith, taking right sides right now. Have a feeling that left side's going to get jacked up. If I'm rolling, if I'm one of the drivers that's rolling around, we'll say 10th through 15th, I may gamble here. I may gamble, try to take two tires, but we know Eddie Smith went in first, came out first, and the same was for Zach Wilson and Garrett Kander, Jonah Colbert as well. Looking down the pit time, I'm not seeing any drivers that gamble. Everybody's right around that 14-second mark.
As I'm not sure, I'm looking at the standings here, and it looks like there's only one car a lap down now. Not sure if that's just because the lap down cars haven't got the chance to pit yet, or if
Who's the lap
my
down?
standings are messed up.
Who's the lap down car that you got right now?
Charlie Gates in the 55, showing 8 laps down.
Okay.
Sure. It says Brandon Wallace and Davy Jones are back on the lead lap, or let me check in here. I can see.
I'm seeing that Brandon Wallace is on the lead lap. So the only person I am seeing a lap down right now is Charlie Gates Jr. You are correct. As we see, Chris Reese is still on pit road. He's electing to get that damage fixed. He's been on pit road for a minute and 30 seconds right now. So, I mean, you can just tell by looking at that car, it has some significant damage that he's got to get it fixed.
"58 laps in here, and we are. Looks like lights are off on the pace car. Am I correct, or are they
Nope.
still on?
Lights are on the pace truck. That beautiful Silverado. As you see, your top five right now: Eddie Smith, Zach Wilson, Garrett Kinder, Jonah Colbert, and Daniel D. Cunningham. That's rounding out your top five. Rounding out your top 10, we'll go a little bit further through the pack. We got Steve Loving. He qualified P1, if I do recall. Mr. Steve Loving in the 27. He's currently running P6. Christopher Heiner in the number 24 Chevy Camaro running 7th. Josh Smith, Joey Bashimi, and Justin Hendry rounding out your top 10.
And it looks like the 55 here
Should get the
of
wave
Charlie
around.
Gates is going to stay out and take the wave around. He's now only 7 laps down, so he's going to gain actually 2 laps back here.
So we're coming to lap 60 when we go green here. We're slowly but surely approaching halfway. It's been a really good race tonight. We've only been here for 38 minutes. Almost halfway through the race. These boys have been making some good moves out on track, but they've been safe moves. Because, I mean, it shows we've only had, what, 2 cautions thus far? Pretty good, 60 laps into this race.
Yeah, you know, 2 cautions, 60 laps in, like you said. That's definitely a good run so far. I think they can string it out and go another green flag run here, as now the lights on the pace truck are off.
Will Garrett Kinder, Zach Wilson, will they have enough to get around Eddie Smith on this restart? What's Eddie Smith going to do on this restart? It's in his hands. The field's in his control. He can make them wait. He can go early. It don't matter as long as that pace truck has all 4 tires off the race surface. After that, it's in Eddie Smith's hand. What's he going to do here?
And as they go back up through the gearbox here, Eddie Smith takes off, and Zach Wilson's actually going to be able to file back in behind him. I'm sorry. And we see them heading to turn 1 here. Some fierce racing around the track, because, you know, like you said earlier, every spot counts at restarts, and you got to take advantage of them.
So the top 6 has kind of singled out. Top 8 have singled out. But if you look further on back in the pack, they're still double wide back here. They're trying to get every spot they possibly can, fighting for like an 11, 12, 13th position. And that's what you got to do. I mean, we're going to talk about it until we're blue in the face. You got to get every position you can. As you see, Joey Brashimi, he's currently up 13 spots, so he's one of the biggest movers thus far. Him and William Griffith. Griffith's up 16 spots. So, although it is, Kentucky can be a difficult place to pass at unless you're on the high lane. Oh, we got a driver actually going down low. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see who that was. Tia Swink, I do believe. We're going to check the Kinder Farm and Ranch wreckage replay here. Looks like he may have just hit the outside wall a little bit. There, you said it. You said it earlier. Pushes up into the outside wall. Ooh, tough contact for that 66 machine. That Ford Mustang just took a hard lick head on into the inside wall.
Yeah, you know, maybe the broadcaster's curse got him there when I said earlier that wall comes up quickly, and as you see, he had lost his rear bumper actually, so heavy contact there. That's really unfortunate. It's still early on. Definitely not the way you want to have your race go.
Absolutely not. I mean, coming to the halfway point, you don't want to call it a night that early. He was making some moves. He was starting to make his way up towards the front, and then ultimately had that happen, and that stinks. That I want to give an update on Aaron Adcock in the 23 machine. We saw him start outside road number 1, P2, riding around without a front clip, got involved in an incident, but you see, he's a warrior. He's sticking it out. He's sticking to it. He's going to come back down pit road and probably elect to get a little bit more damage fixed. The one thing I'm worried about, Jason, when I see a car that, for one, don't have a front clip, and for two, that's just mangled that much in the front, I get worried about maybe that radiator's damaged and you're going to blow a motor and stuff like that. So, as a driver, Aaron, he's sitting there probably watching his oil temp the entire time around the track, oil and water temp, making sure you don't actually blow that motor.
Yeah, it's definitely something to watch and keep your eye on throughout the rest of this race here. But you know, he is a trooper. He's sticking it out. He's trying to get every point he can here, and that's, like you said earlier, I'm going to touch on it once again here. It's, you got to do it. You got to fight as long as you can for those points, because, you know, big picture.
These
Point
bad
battle.
races for a driver, and that's what we'll call it. I mean, it's a bad race. You know, you came out here, you were second in qualifying, got caught up in an incident. Whether it's your fault, not your fault, that's not for anybody to decide because it don't matter. What does matter is You stick it out. Maybe you gain a few spots as the night goes on. That other drivers may have a bad night. You gain a few spots. That could be the difference between being second place in the points at the end of the season or holding up that championship trophy.
Yeah, he's sitting in 28th spot right now, but there's still a long race to go. Anything can happen. It could be a big wreck, and he could make it through. You never know. I mean, I don't want to wish it. Let's hope the broadcaster curse doesn't make that happen. But it's
Anything can happen,
never
Jason.
over.
We know we're like I say every week. I'm a racer 6 nights out of the week. This is a one night a week. That's not true anymore, actually. So that used to be my catchphrase. I'm actually a racer 5 nights out of the week. I broadcast on Tuesday nights as well. And while I'm at it, I want to go ahead and throw out we are open for Thursday nights. If somebody wants to bring us on board, it'll be me and Dalton Kilrow normally. We may have a special guest every now and then. Jason Raymond, he's not a fan of being in the broadcast booth, but he comes up here to help me because he's a good guy. But anyways, I'm a racer 5 other nights out of the week, so I understand everything these drivers are feeling right here. I'm not just a broadcaster that's never raced. Like I said, I race 5 nights a week. So like I totally get it. I get getting in a wreck, being frustrated, and thinking, "Oh, I'm not even competitive. I'm gonna leave this race." I've done it. We've all done it. We've all been guilty of it, I'm sure. But I mean, sticking it out, that that one gains you a lot of respect. Two shows your loyalty to the league, and three helps out your points battle.
Yeah, I race. I can't say 5 because
I really don't do
that's
5 nights a week. I think I do 3 nights a week.
I race 3 nights a week as well, and I'm mainly a short track guy, but still, even if I get a little bit of damage, I mean, I know it doesn't affect you that much in a short track, but I still think to myself like, well, my race is over now. But I've had major damage where I thought I was done, and I still finished in the top 5. So anything's possible. It's still a long race, like I said, and you know, could be a big wreck. Don't want it to happen, but you just gotta, keep your mind, think a big picture, think about the positions you could get if there is an incident to happen, and just kind of ride around.
As we see, lights are off on that beautiful Chevy Silverado. Going to make that left-hand turn down pit road. These guys are going to pull them belts tight. Once again, I must ask, what's Eddie Smith going to do? I noticed it's a different person firing off. Or no, it's not either. Oh, so iRacing Live Timing was telling me Jonah was in third, but that was just because he was lined up a little bit past that 13 machine. So you got 13 on the inside, you got 31 on the outside. I think it's getting ready to heat up. I think the gloves are getting ready to come off. I don't think these boys have raced hard just yet. I think these boys up front, boys in the middle, even the boys in the back, they're getting ready to let them all hang, let it fly. Eddie Smith gets another great jump. It's been the story of the night. Zach Wilson's able to clear himself. They're battling for P3. It looks like Garrett Kinder is going to be able to close that hole for himself. Take P3. Going to bring 31 machine of Jonah Colbert down with him. 27 was looking low, but not able to make it stick. Steve Loving, he's a driver to talk about. He's a driver to watch. He qualified P1, currently running 5th. Don't forget about Steve Loving. Don't forget about Daniel D. Cunningham. Shoot, don't forget about Joey Buscemi. There's a lot of drivers out here, a lot of talent. Tell me one more time, Jason, how do we pronounce Tyler's name? Gatke?
Gatke, yes, that is correct.
Tyler Gatke, currently your biggest mover, up 18 spots in that A&W machine, looking mighty fine. To the inside of Joey right now, going to try to make it stick down low, going into 3 and 4. This is a very tough place to pass right here down low. It's not tough to pass on entry. It's on exit where it gets hard because that car naturally, like Jason said, wants to walk up the track. And whenever you have a driver on your outside like that, one, you can't allow it to walk up the track because you're going to squeeze that guy into the outside wall. So you got to be careful. You got to wait to put the power down. And that's what we're seeing right here. That's allowing Joey and that 8 machine to actually hang on tight and fight on the outside. Doing a great job. As you see Jason Warren bringing up the rear behind them, trying to close that gap in on them, trying to pick off some more drivers. But Tyler is on the move, plus 18 spots.
As we see the 16 and the 8 still going to battle as, I don't know names, so it's harder for me to call the action, but I'll start calling it by a car number here. You can tell me names at that point.
That'll be fine. That'll be all right.
Oh, did you see the 47 touch the wall a little bit on corner exit right there?
That's Josh
Able to hold
Smith.
on.
That's a good looking 47 machine, I do say so myself. Might be a spoiler for your Smills Racing Design's best paint.
Ooh, crossover move from the 85 here. That is. Oh, let me find it. I will pronounce somebody's name. That was Justin Hendry.
Yep.
There we go. I got a name. We crossed over the 47 there of
Josh Smith.
and
Yep.
drag racing down the backstretch now.
Yep. Good job, my young brethren. As you see, that 85, he's trying to look low, but I mean, we're gonna say it a lot tonight. Just not able to put the power down. That Yingling machine of the 47 of Josh Smith is able to put the power down great on the high side, use that momentum on corner exit. Ooh, you see the 85 starting to get a little bit loose. He had to catch the car. Ultimately lost quite a bit of momentum there. Went up high. Got Joey Buscemi trying to battle on the inside of him now. I think in order to make passes, you got to be able to pass on the bottom. And you're thinking, Tanner, we're watching that. How do you do that? You're just going to have to make it work. These drivers they're smart. They're not going to give up the high side to anybody. Normally you think when it comes to racing, no, you got to be the low line. That's the fastest. It shows here tonight. That high lane, it has the momentum needed to go down the back stretch, to go down the front stretch. It builds up so much speed because you're not having to turn the wheel nearly as much. And it's showing. The high lane is exactly where you want to be at right now.
Yeah, you were touching on making passes on the bottom, and personally, there's two ways you can really try to make the pass here. I know, like you said, it's really difficult, but maybe get the little bit of draft you can get going down the backstretch, and I know it's not the smartest thing, but just drive into the corner a little deeper than normal and hope that you have enough momentum to stay alongside with the guy and do the same thing or get another good run down into the next corner. We see. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Go.
I was just gonna say we see Eddie Smith is up to a 5/10 lead now, as my scoring is showing me. As you see the second, third, and fourth drivers all right there together, and looks like the decent gap between fourth and fifth, but he's still right there. Still able to get that draft and hang with him.
He's currently opened at about 4/10 right now, but that's about what we've seen all night. It's been between 2 and 4/10. Zach Wilson will kind of fall back a little bit. Then he'll muscle that machine back up there. Garrett Kendrick still rolling P3. The top 5 of this field really hasn't changed a whole lot. It's been the same drivers just about. Just a little bit different running order versus how they really started. But man, there's been some shakers and movers further on back in the pack. I just want to give an update on all these drivers real quick because this is actually really impressive considering there's only been 2 cautions. Josh Smith, number 47, he's up 12 spots. Justin Hendry up 12 spots. Joey Buscemi up 13 spots. Tyler Gatke up 18 spots. Jason Warren, talked about him earlier, missed his qualifying, didn't get a lap, up 16 spots. That's actually really impressive. But on the flip side of that, Jason, you do know for drivers to move that far, other drivers have had to fall back. And that's where the hard luck award comes into play at. That's that P&J Motorsports hard luck award. It might be a little bit early to give it, but if we are going to give it right now, I think it has to go to none other than our driver that sit on the front row, Mr. Aaron Adcock in the 23 machine.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. He started P2, and didn't he led a good amount of laps up there. And
Yep, he did. He led up to the first caution. Just about.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a few laps he didn't lead leading into the caution, but yes, he got out front and looked really, really strong. Looked to be a serious contender all night.
And that's just how racing goes. Is you could have such a good start to the race, and then one little incident could throw you back in the pack, and then you never know. You just never know what's gonna happen. It could be in a wreck. It's just how racing goes.
There's your P&J Hard Luck, P&J Motorsports Hard Luck Award. Mr. 23, Aaron Adcock. Tough, tough break, but great job on sticking it out tonight, brother. And I want to touch on Josh Loken, Vince. That was a driver we saw ripping the high lane earlier. I mean, he was one of the first drivers of the race to elect to run up really high like that. And I mean, he don't have a whole lot to show for it now. Did get in the incident earlier though, and we know that damage has to be hurting that car a little bit. He's currently lost 12 spots since he gridded, running P26.
As I'm seeing some cars with damage that I don't know where it's coming from, to be honest. Like I didn't see any contact or anything, and there's some drivers that have damage on their cars that I have no idea where it came from.
So that's kind of what I'm doing right now as we go through the pack. We're kind of looking. Mickey Isaac right here is looking fairly clean, but you see that 12 machine on the outside of William Griffin. It has a little bit of damage. There's a few drivers in here that are being quiet but getting a little bit of damage, like a driver like Kyle Roberts. He's going to be the number 35 pink and black Monster Energy car. Looking pretty stout here tonight. It's these type of drivers right here. Kyle Roberts, he's been quiet all night. Kyle, I apologize. I don't even know if we've said your name really because you have been quiet. But sometimes quiet in these long races is a good thing. You don't want to be heard to the end of the race. Up 14 spots, running P17. Eyes forward. I look for Kyle Roberts to keep on moving up his grid as this race goes on.
Yeah, being quiet and hanging back there, but like I said earlier, you just kind of take your time, don't run too hard, and just take what you can get, pick them off one by one as they start coming to you.
I'm really surprised when I see Jason Warren up there contending for the lead right now. Maybe he's thinking big picture like so many of these other drivers. Maybe he didn't get to practice as much this week for Kentucky. I think him not being able to qualify hurt him. I think that really, really hurt his chances coming into the night. But still, running P13, that's never a bad night in this series. As we recycle back up front, nothing has changed. Eddie Smith, he's opened it up to almost a .7 gap, almost a full second ahead of Garrett Kinder in P3. Eddie Smith, he's chasing win number 6, I do believe, and man, oh man, he's getting there fast. We're on lap 83, coming to lap 84 this time by.
I haven't watched all the races, or I don't know much about this league. Obviously, like I'm watching it. Definitely seems like a great league to be a part of, and if you're dominating a league like that, there's something to say. He's out front. He's looking really good right now. I'm not sure if all the other drivers are just kind of letting him drive away and maybe burn up his tires, but he's looking really strong right now. But like we said, Zach Wilson's right there, so I mean, you never know. You see 3 wide back there, as I can't tell who it is, and I'm not gonna be able to go on super fast, but.
Jason, I want to go to our FiveKings Motorsports, FiveKings Network. Turn it up. We're going to let you hear loud and clear what these drivers are hearing here as they're battling around Kentucky Motor Speedway. We'll be right back with you. This is the FiveKings Network. Turn it up. right, folks, we are back. That was the Five Kings Network Turn It Up segment brought to you by Five Kings Network here on the Five Kings Motorsports YouTube channel. We thank y'all for tuning in for the Keswick Group Saturday night Send It Cup Series brought to you by the Original Rebels Racing League on iRacing. Check them out. Check out all the awesome series they have. We've already heard they got Xfinity on Friday nights. They got ARCA. They got a late night cup series if you're on the West Coast. They have a truck series on Sunday nights. Then they're partnered with Thunderstruck. It's a quote unquote sister series to this league, Original Rebels. And they specialize in the short track side of things. They offer stuff such as street stocks, tour mods, super late models. Check them out. That's the Original Rebels Racing Series on iRacing and Thunderstruck on iRacing.
We see a driver coming down pit road, so it might be that time again for the strategy to start playing a hand here.
We do have drivers going down pit road. We got T.S. Swank and Jason Warren. I was not able to catch what Jason Warren, if he took 4 tires, 2 tires. I got to it a little late. He is a lap down now, but he just needs it to cycle through. Let's go see if that's going to force the hand of some drivers that were running out front. Maybe it's time for them to finally pit as well.
Oh, as you see the 99 of Brandon Wallace being lapped here, and Eddie Smith, as we were on the Turn It Up segment, he's extended his lead to about 1.6 seconds, so he's starting to pull away here.
He's turning it up as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
I should have said that. That's a good
yep,
way to put it.
yep. I mean, look at that. He's opened it up to almost 2 seconds, 1.6 seconds over Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson, that was a driver that was hounding Eddie Smith for a long time in this portion of this race. They were coming to 40 laps to go this time by.
It's been such a great race so far. 2 cautions and a lot of cars, so it's definitely been a good race. And hats off to these guys for like showing us the great action here and keeping it clean throughout the night so far. See, I can only see Eddie Smith right now. Let me go over to the Monday section here and check it out so I can see what's going on. See, oh, there we go. We got a 27 of Steve Loving and Jonah Colbert battling for the 4th and 5th position. As we actually see a pass on the bottom here, as we were talking earlier about how difficult it is to pass, and it's definitely just proved us wrong that it is possible. To go back here to the 85, oh, back to the 24. Trying to find out here so I can get the name right. 24 car. Christopher Heiner here in the 24 car. It's a nice looking pink team too. He's right behind the 23 of Aaron Adcock. As he goes underneath them, I think those are 2 lap cars that he's passing. Back here to Joey Brashimi. That's a beautiful number 8 car right there. I'm loving all these paint schemes. I do a little painting myself, and I'm loving these things. These are nice cars. As you see, the 47 of Josh Smith, as they're about to start doing some battling here to go into turn 1. We got the not sure who that is in front of them. That is the, let me see here. I will find Brian Fine. I'm learning here. Don't broadcast very often. First broadcast, but we're doing big things here. We're learning as we go and enjoying just watching this action here. On lap 98. We're on lap 98 here, about to cross. Never mind, I am behind again. As you see the 47 still able to keep the lead over the number 8 lead, but the same from the Joey Buscemi here. They just passed the 99 of Brandon Wallace, and actually they're closing in on Aaron Adcock too. So that's they're starting to close on the guys in front of them. If I am correct. And lap traffic here, it definitely could become a factor later on. As we see, as we see Eddie Smith down on pit road now, so that will give the lead to Garrett Kinder.
Garrett Kinder resumes the lead right there. Got to gift it to him. Going to be interesting to see when him, Zach Wilson, Steve Loving, Justin Hendry, when they decide to bring it down pit road. They're going to come this time by. Very tough entry on the pit road. Any pit road, whenever you go from running 190 to 100 or 180 to 190, have to slow that machine all the way down to what 55, 60 miles per hour, and you want to do it without losing any time whatsoever. Very, very tough. As you see, it's really starting to cycle now. You got some new names up front. You got Brian Fine in that 57 machine, going to get him a lap lead this time by.
As you know, as I was talking, and we didn't notice though that actually the 13 car of Garrett Kinder actually took the lead or took second from Zach Wilson. I didn't, as we see Zach Wilson backing up in his pit stall.
I wonder, not exactly sure what happened there. Now the story to watch is to see if a caution was to fall. That's going to hurt Eddie Smith. It's going to put him. Well, he would still cycle to the lead. He's not a lap down, so never mind. He would be okay. Thought maybe he was going to be trapped a lap down, but I think most drivers have went in. The ones that haven't, Josh Lokenvitz, last pitted on lap 62, excuse me. And then their top four, Tyler Rice, Sam Wetstein, William Griffin, and Cameron Combs, all pitted on lap 56. So they are due a pit stop coming pretty quick. Let's go and give them a look and see as they've caught the tail end of the ones that have pitted already. As you see the 54 machine trying to get his lap back. That's Daniel D. Cunningham getting by Cameron Combs there.
After that the 54 got around the 15 there, he extended the gap to a pretty big margin here. As I see the 15 car has some right side damage. I'm not sure if I missed something or if, like I said earlier, that wall comes up quick, so it could have just been something simple as came off the corner a little too hot and touched that wall.
As he's still staying out, he went in at lap 56, becoming to 103. He has to be getting close to that fuel window now, Jason. Right now, right now this driver's thinking caution. Give me a caution. Give me a caution. Give me a caution.
That's actually exactly what I was gonna say. He's thinking if he can
blinked
get a
out.
caution, he's having some connection issues, and he is back. If I was him, I'd be probably staying out as well, thinking if I can get a caution here, then it won't put me as far back, and maybe I can keep some track position. You see the 12 car down on pit road.
So they're starting to finally cycle their way on through. Just a few left out there. The top three have not pitted yet. That's Josh Lokovitz, Cameron Combs, and Sam Wetstein. So as it cycles through, it's been the name up front all night long, just about. Eddie Smith, that 87 machine, he's ready to see those cars in front of him, the top three, go down pit lane, and he's going to take control of the lead. I have noticed Jonah Colbert showing some great speed once he came off pit road. Currently battling Garrett Kinder on the outside. They make slight contact. These guys are battling for what's going to be really second if the caution don't fly and this cycles through with pit stops.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, as Zach Wilson is currently showing P8 back here, so not sure what happened to him. We saw him
back up on pit road,
on his pit stop. So I'm not sure if maybe he just overshot his pit stall originally, and then when he was ready to go, maybe he forgot that he had it in reverse. As we see the 15 car now down on pit road, looks like he's taking 4 fresh tires, and he's off.
Had a pretty good entry into pit lane and off pit lane, as I'm seeing from the time spent on pit road, so that's going to gain him some time actually on track. One driver that has not pitted yet, he's stretching it out as far as he can, is Sam Wetstein. He's going to be your last person to pit currently got a 5 second lead over Eddie Smith, but man, oh man, Eddie's catching him by about a second to a second and a half a lap. It's actually remarkable watching this interval time go down because it's going down faster than it can literally count a split second. It's jumping numbers because he's catching him so fast. That shows. That's not saying Sam Weston's slow. That's saying just how valuable fresh tires is.
As I'm looking in the chat here, we got Kevin Kinder said, no more Sunday driving. The gloves are off. Go get them, number 13. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on Garrett Kinder, see if he can get up there and see if he has anything for Eddie Smith.
Garrett Kendrick is really fast. I used to love racing with Garrett Kendrick because he will race you hard, and the commenter said, the gloves will eventually come off. He ain't gonna wreck you. He's not even gonna try to rough you up, but he is gonna race you hard. He may try to pinch you down or something, and yeah, it might be frustrating at the time. But looking back on it, me and Garrett battling at North Wilkesboro and some of these short tracks, Martinsville, man, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I mean, that's a good guy right there, and he's a super fast. So I do feel like once the gloves comes off, he may have something for Eddie Smith. As also, I didn't even pay attention. Josh Lokenvents has not pitted as well, so we actually got two drivers. The final two, Sam Wetstein and Josh Lokenvents. As Eddie Smith actually makes the pass on Sam Wetstein, I expect to see Wetstein to go down pit lane pretty quick here.
Oh yeah, now his hand has been forced. Caution didn't come out. He's already lost the lead. So I mean, if you get a caution, you can still keep some track position. But I'd rather, if it was me, I'd pit now and hope for the caution later on. Try to get those positions on the grease starts. It looks like he's actually having some trouble turning that car. He went super high, unless that's just the lane he's been choosing to run. I haven't noticed it.
No, I think he's feeling the effects of those tires. He's on shoot, man. He's over 40 laps from them tires, so he's actually done really good stretching them. But I think the fuel is going to force his hand if Eddie Smith hasn't already. And we're coming to close to 20 laps to go. We heard the commenter say it's time for the gloves to come off. You see Garrett Kendrick, he's going underneath that driver right there. I'm not sure who it is. I do apologize. Six machine. And now he's looking underneath the Mr. Manzo in at 44. They are giving Garrett Kendrick the high lane, letting him just kind of work his magic and go through. Going to be P2 as Sam Wetstein just took his machine down pit road. Last one not to pit. Josh Lokenvents in that 79 machine. I would like to do an onboard shot with Garrett Kendrick. Let's see how much he's working that car. If I can find it, excuse me as I look. Okay, where is the cockpit? There it is. Got a cool design behind his nameplate there on the dash. You see the 13 and then Kendrick. Pretty sweet looking ride.
He's actually really smooth on the wheel right now. He's not working the wheel too much, not putting any unnecessary wear on the tires.
I think with Eddie Smith, he was able to cycle out and be by himself. Jason, Garrett Kendrick, we saw him. He was in a hornet's nest right then, having to battle. He's fallen back almost 6 seconds to Eddie Smith. So this driver right here in the 13 machine, from second on back, they need a caution right now to get with Eddie, unless Eddie goes up there and burns his stuff up. Now we did see how much tires did make a difference. Maybe Eddie's pushing a little bit too hard. Got a big lead right here. He may start conserving, but a 6 second lead right now. I know Garrett Kendrick wants to see a caution.
Oh yeah, for sure. 6 seconds hard to make up. As you see second, third, and fourth are actually all right with each other. So, if it was Daytona or something, I'd say these guys need to hook up, catch Eddie Smith. But there is not that much draft here, so they're racing for their own position back here.
And the thing is, Eddie Smith is actually gaining on that lead. It was right at 6 seconds. It's 6.4 now. So he's actually extending the lead a little bit. It's starting to dwindle now that we do see Garrett Kendrick has fresh, clean track up in front of him up close. So that gap may start to dwindle down now. As you see, Jonah Colbert electing to run a little bit lower than Garrett is. Garrett and Zach Wilson are actually running basically the same line in 3 and 4. Let's see what they do this time around in 1 and 2.
Side-by-side racing back there for third and fourth is we got the 31 of Jonah Colbert and the 51 showing 51 Zach Wilson on the outside. Let's see if Jonah Colbert can keep that position. I know he's on the bottom, and he said earlier it's hard to keep position, but he sends it into the corner. He's actually gonna clear Zach Wilson right here.
You know, I wanted to do it on the next caution, but Jason, I think we're going ahead and do it right now. I want to hear your pick for the Smil Racing Designs Best Paint of the Night Award. Let's hear who you got. You can take a little
There's
bit and cycle through and find you one, as I'm going to find me one as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good-looking cars out here. That's definitely tough.
I already know mine.
Yeah, I got mine. I gotta go with the 75 of Tuck Peg Leg Felt. Like I said earlier, I do a little bit of painting. And that gold is really nice looking. It's hard to get a good looking gold on here. And I don't know, something with the way the gold and the maroon line up with each other. I think it really looks nice, and the design is pretty clean overall. And that's a good looking car right there.
So you went with the number 75 of Chuck Phelps. I'm going to go with Mr. Zach Wilson himself in that 51 machine. Got a good looking patriotic type scheme. I love the way the 51 looks. Love the symbol on the front. Man, that car is a beauty. I do really like that car. That is
It's
your
also a nice looking
Smil
car.
Racing Designs. Best paint of the night right there. I got Zach Wilson. Jason has Chug Pegleg Felts. Mr. Pegleg. To the viewers out there in viewerland, shout us out. Who you got? Who's the best looking paint of the night? Let us know in the comments section down below. As we give another update on Eddie Smith, he's currently out front. He's managing the gap. It's falling down to 6 seconds, but you see, he has a lot of drivers out of his windshield. Got to try to be methodical. Be patient when you try to pass these guys out in front of you because they are fast just as well as you are. So you got to be careful. Don't put yourself in any jeopardy trying to get around this lap traffic. As Mr. Raymond, we are coming to 13 laps to go this time by. It's been a marvelous race, an absolutely great race.
Oh yeah, like I said earlier, hats off to these guys. So far 2 cautions is definitely something to be proud of. Netcode is a thing in iRacing, and these guys are just giving each other enough room that's not even a thing to worry about tonight. It's actually really, really, really impressive.
It is. If we're coming to 12 laps to go this time by, when we're 10 laps to go, it's going to be the 10 to go presented by BAM Racing Videos. That's BAM Racing Videos on YouTube. If you like sim racing videos, we got you covered here on FiveKings Motorsports. But if you want to see some real life racing at some of the most famous short tracks across the entire nation, that's BAM Racing Videos. BAM space Racing space Videos on YouTube. They're closing in close to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. They're growing at a rapid pace. Go give them some love. Tell them we sent you. And just check them out. That's BAM Racing Videos whenever we go 10 to go.
I know it's definitely a long shot, but you know how we were touching on how that gap between first and second and third and fourth was about 6 seconds, 6.5 seconds. They've closed it down to 5.5. So
Yep,
I mean,
I
they
see
are
that.
definitely faster, but there's only 11 laps to go and big track, so definitely. I mean, it's not impossible by any means, but
I just think,
not gonna be easy.
I think without the caution, I don't think, maybe they could get to him. I still don't think they can get to him. I don't think there's enough laps left. And that's not taking anything away from Garrett. Like I said, he came out and had traffic whenever he got off pit road. As we see, Jonah Colbert actually just made. Ooh, there's some contact between him and Zach Wilson. We switched over right at the right moment. As Jonah Colbert trying to get back around Zach Wilson, they must have passed when we wasn't on them a while ago because Zach Wilson was ahead of Jonah. Then Jonah passed him, and Zach Wilson passed him. Now Jonah's right back ahead of him, and that's allowing Garrett Kinder to kind of get out in front of them a little bit, create himself a pretty good little bubble. As we're coming to 8 to go this time by, 8 laps to go. Or 9 laps to go, excuse me. He really is. He's closing the gap. It went from 5.6 to almost 5.4, but just not catching that driver fast enough, I don't believe. As you see,
Yeah,
Eddie Smith.
I'm
He's
seeing in chat here that they're saying Kinder won't say die though. He'll give it all he's got. But
absolutely, absolutely.
I agree with that. You gotta try as hard as you can because anything's possible. Smith could make a mistake, and if you're not pushing your car, then obviously you're not gonna get there. But you could tell he's trying. He's trying to get there. He's giving it all he's got, and he is closing the gap. But like you said, there's not to get a caution.
I like whenever he catches a lap car. So we saw earlier he was very patient, didn't put himself in any type of harm, and now he knows his talents. He trusts his ability, and that's the way you got to be. He's just driving it off in there, and he knows he's going to hold his line. He's going to make it stick, and he's actually turning some really fast laps. He was a little bit slower than Eddie Smith that time by. Actually just put up the same exact lap time as very last lap, 32:68. So that shows if a caution was to fall, it's going to be a dogfight between these two. And I'll be honest, as a viewer, as a broadcaster, it'd be cool to see these guys get re-racked, given one more time, because you know pit strategy is going to come into play. Will somebody pit? They had been out here for a while. They've been out here for about 20, 25 laps on with the old tires now. Would somebody pit? Would somebody stay out? It's always interesting to see in these late race scenarios.
Yeah, I know Eddie Smith doesn't want to do the caution. He's got a
Absolutely not, right?
5.6 second gap, but I agree with you. As a viewer standpoint, I would love to see these guys get racked and go to battle for maybe even a green white checkered. As for the strategy, I don't. I would say if you're in the top five, I wouldn't pit just because it's hard to pass here at the big track. But I don't know. Definitely, it could be interesting.
I think if I'm fourth on back, I'm taking tires. Now, if I'm fourth on back, I see the top three go in. I'm staying out to risk it and hoping that I have a buffer of cars behind me that did not pit as well. But it may not come down to that. We're 5 laps to go, coming to 4 laps to go this time by. It's all Eddie Smith. He's in control right now with a 5.6 second lead. Opened it back up a little bit over Garrett Kinder, but Garrett Kinder, like they said, the commenter, he will not say he dies. He's going to fight until he can't fight no more. Another thing, Jason, you missed it last week. They do a thing called the Rebel Smash Up. After the driver wins, whoever wins tonight, it's going to be all melee on the track. You're going to see about 30 cars just come and just drill the 87. It's actually really comical to watch.
I look forward to that. Then
The 87 got
fun.
beat
I
up
might want
last
to do
week.
that. I might
So,
want to do that sometime.
well, I'm normally the winner, so no, I don't do that. I'm just joking. I haven't won in a while. Forgot how to do it.
As we do see a driver down on pit road now.
You might be
Not sure.
Brandon Wallace. He was off cycle from everybody else because of that early race incident. Got him a little bit off cycle. He may have stretched out his fuel as far as he could go. As it's Eddie Smith coming to the line. This time by, 2 laps to go. Next time by will be the white flag. Joe on Tuesday nights, a buddy of mine I broadcast with, he says once that white flag falls, you can line them up, you can kill them, you can die out there on the racetrack. It don't matter. IRS is not throwing the yellow. We're 2 laps to go here in the Keswick group. Saturday night, NASCAR Syndic Cup Series 87 coming to the line this time by. 1 lap to go. As the official Barney up in the flag stand has the white flag. He's flying it through the air that final lap. White flag this time by. Eddie Smith going into 1 and 2. Don't have a whole lot of competition out the back glass. He's currently looking out front. Smooth selling all ahead. As long as he can go down here and make 2 more smooth turns, you're going to have Eddie Smith with win number 6 on the board.
Yeah, as he comes out of turn 4 for the last time. Well, currently in turn 4. As he comes out of turn 4 now, coming down the front stretch for the final time, across the start finish line. There he is, your winner, Eddie Smith.
There's your winner, Mr. Eddie Smith of the 87. You got Garrett Kinder trying to bring it across P2. It's going to be Garrett Kinder P2. Zach Wilson is going to try to bring it home P3. Excuse me, I forgot where I was on the track. With Jonah Colbert running P4 and Steve Loving bringing it home in the top 5. That's P5 for Steve Loving. Started on the pole, Did lose 4 positions from where he gritted, but still a top 5 nonetheless. Let's put the camera back on Eddie Smith. Let's see if he gets some carnage here, as I'm expecting some drivers to come up here and destroy him after he burns it out, burns it up. Up there we
Oh, did you see?
see
Did you
guys
see him start
flipping across
flipping
the
across the
line.
street?
Nice. And here we go.
Yeah, here it goes.
William Griffith gave him a little glove. Oh, he about got hit going 190 right then. Come on, somebody hit him head on. Give us the Rebel smash up. There we go. 98 gives him a tap. That 87 machine, he's still burning it down. It's relentless. He didn't give up in the race. He's not giving up on the burnout. This winning moment is brought to you by the Keswick Group for the Rebels Bash 'em Up Derby after the end of the race. We got guys going backwards. Garrett Kinder in that 13 machine going to make sure to get him a lick in on the winner tonight, 87. This is awesome. This is what good fun is all about. They get out here, they race hard for 133 laps. This last lap, this is when the gloves really come off. As you
This
see
is
that,
like a tug of war match going on
right,
right there.
right. That's Eddie Smith, driver of the number 87 Chevy Camaro Trigger Time. Eddie Smith, race winner once again in the Saturday Night Cup Series, Send It Series, as we're going to start pulling these drivers in for an interview in just 1 second. Got to do something behind the scenes for the sponsors. It's going to be the Shappy Edits post race interview with your top 3 finishers, as I'm trying to find them right now in Discord. We had Zach Wilson bringing home P3, going to move him up into the FiveKings Network booth. If I can find it, they have so many teams in here that it's impossible.
They are sitting in the waiting room waiting for you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to move them up though.
Gotcha. See if I can.
There we have Mr. Zach Wilson, driver of the number 29 machine. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Zach, I'll be honest. I've raced with you before. I know how strong you are. I know you're probably disappointed to be P3, but man, you were stout at the beginning of this race. You were giving Eddie Smith all he could handle, had his hands full. Talk me through your race.
Yeah, it was a good night overall. I'll take a podium against these guys any night. Eddie's a great driver. He's hard to beat. He seems like it's every week he's up here talking to you guys. So, yeah, after the first 2 sets of tires, I got into the wall there once off of two, and it really hurt the car. I didn't have the aerodynamic as what I had before. And then I made a mistake on pit road under that last green flag stop. The jack dropped, and somehow I had the car in reverse. So, lost a little bit of time there, but glad to get back up to third and get a good finish tonight. It was a lot of fun.
So we actually saw whenever the Jack dropped on you. We thought maybe you originally overshot your pit box or something and backed up, and then just made a little mental mistake and left it in reverse. But that was not the case, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what happened. I normally as I come into my pit box, I'm in first gear coming when I get close to it, and then I knock it into neutral. So I don't know if I pushed down on the shifter when I went to throw it into first, and that pushed it into reverse, or what. So able to rebound and make a positive out of it at the end of the day.
Right on. I mean, you said it when you got here. If you finish a podium with these guys, that's pretty impressive. That's Zach Wilson, driver of the number 29 machine out of RTR Motorsports. Zach, before we cut you loose, you got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, big shout out to everybody in the league. Matt Geis for throwing this league together and getting everything going. Our commissioners, William Griffith, and everybody. And uh, shout out to my guys I had on my car tonight, Sergeant Chris Ward and Deputy Logan Fox. They were two of my really good friends. They lost their lives back at the end of April in the line of duty. So just any way I can represent them, I'm sure happy to do that.
I'll be honest, Zach. So you won the best paint design from my vote, and hearing what you just said right then, God bless you. Thank you for the ones that served for us. Gives us this privilege to do this. Good run tonight, P3, Zach. We'll probably be talking to you again next week, I'm sure.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thank you, Zach. Good race.
As we got the P2 finisher up here in the booth, Garrett Kinder in the number 13 machine. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do. Go ahead, guys.
So we saw you up front most of the night here. You qualified fifth. You had a good pit stop at the end. Do you think with the caution you could have had anything for Eddie Smith, or were you just riding?
Ooh, I don't know. Eddie's one of those aliens that he's got short run and long run. He's got it figured out in these cup cars. he's told me before that he doesn't like cup cars, but it's kind of hard to believe. It would have been tough. I would have given it my best. I feel like after that green flag rotation, I felt like we kept pace pretty well. If we could have just maybe reeled him in a little bit
You
before that
did,
green
yep.
flag cycle. I think whenever I came out of pits, he was like 5.6 ahead of me. I think he finished about five ahead of me. So, we kept pace pretty good with him, but it's a dang hard track to make up a 5 second gap whenever you're on even tires.
Right. I mean, Garrett, we spotlighted you whenever you did exit pit road, and we noticed that Eddie kind of got blessed a little bit, Garrett. He was able to come out and have a little bit of fresh air, whereas you came out, you had Zach Wilson, Jonah Colbert right there with you, and you were also contending with lap traffic. So I think if a caution was to fall, I think it's getting ready to be a dogfight for the 13 and 87 because y'all were matching lap times a few different times tonight.
Oh, it would have been a good time for sure. I, everybody up there in the front, man. Eddie, Zach, Jonah, Steve, everybody that was up there running around top five for most of the night. Oh, it seemed like we were duking it out all night. I'd get up beside Zach, and then Jonah would get up beside me, and this was a fun race. You don't get a lot of these races, especially at these intermediate tracks. A lot of times it's kind of boring. But
Right.
man, up front, it was a blast up there tonight. Just playing the chess game. Sticking a nose in here, making them think about it here and there, and it was fun.
So I hear you talk about the mile and a half or whatever intermediate styles. I can tell I've raced with you many laps. You're a short tracker, but you came home P2 tonight in the Reaper Racing, Kenders and Farm and Ranch. So that's a good night nonetheless. Garrett, you got any sponsor shots you want to throw out there?
Of course, got to thank all of our serious sponsors. Of course, our main one, Jason Reisman Insurance over at the Keswick Group. Look him up, get insured at reisman.getinsured@gmail.com. My teammate, my main man, Seth Griffith, he's our secondary sponsor for this series, also kind of running this show. So big shout out to him. Kinder Farm and Ranch sponsoring that Wreckage Rewind. Shappy Edits, Smule Racing Design, some of the best designs for paints on iRacing, in my personal opinion. Magic Mike, E-Racing TV, Intensity Broadcasting. Of course, I got to thank all my teammates. I think Griff was the only one in. Griff and Brandon, Brandon Wallace, both those guys. They got kind of some tough luck. Brandon tried to play the long game on a pit strategy and ended up getting bit. I think he had to pit for 1 gallon of gas there at the end of the race. But
Yep.
uh, man, it was just a fun race. I got to thank Kinder Farm and Ranch though. They're the hood sponsor that came on and sponsored me last season, stayed on this season, and man, it's great to have family on board and family supporting you. Big Frig coolers, some of the best coolers out there on the market. And of course, thank y'all for jumping on FiveKings Broadcasting. Y'all do a heck of a job.
Well, Garrett, we appreciate that, and y'all make our job a lot easier with races like tonight. That was a good battle throughout the race. Normally, these league races on these intermediates, normally it's basically like a one man show, and y'all proved to me tonight it wasn't just a one man show. Yeah, Eddie Smith won, but like I said, you had the same pace. Zach Wilson had the same pace. The battle between second, third, and fourth was the battle to watch tonight because y'all were really duking it out after that green flag pit stop.
It got intense for a long time.
It really, I can only imagine. Well, Garrett, you brought home P2. Congratulations, buddy. Maybe we'll be talking to you again next week.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. There you have it. That's Garrett Kinder in the 13 machine brought it home P2, but as of right now, we have race winner for the sixth time this season, Mr. Eddie Smith of the 87 machine. This is Tanner Marr in the FiveKings Network booth. You got a copy?
Man, I got you. What's going on, guys?
Man, it's going great, but I feel like you're going a little bit better. So we first started covering this series, Eddie, last week. That was at Martinsville. You went out there, you got win number 5, and then we hit it basically just a flip. Went from Martinsville to Kentucky. Completely different style of track. You came out here, you didn't qualify on the front row, but man, oh man, if you blinked in the beginning, that's all it took. Eddie Smith was then out in the lead. Talk me through your race.
Yeah, that I waited. I went out too early in qualifying, and the track temp dropped down about 6 degrees from the start of
Oh
qualifying
wow.
to the end. Yeah, so it was. I was a little dumb on my part. I thought it would hold it, but anyway, so I started sixth, and on that first lap, I'm assuming guys were saving. I don't know. It just there was quite a few gaps that opened up just right, and was able to get up to second, and was able to get around Adcock. Yeah, with the way this downforce and these tracks work, um, being in front, clean air is everything. I think Zach was probably a little bit faster than me. I figured something out towards the end of the race in 3 and 4 that helped. But he could get to my bumper, but just couldn't get the runs off the corner with it being so air dependent. Yeah, it's a little frustrating because I like to race it out. I don't like to be able to just move over and take somebody's lane and that stop them. I'd rather just race them.
Right, right.
But we had a good pit stop, came out, had about 5 seconds plus on the pit stop, and so that was all I needed, and was able just to get it done. So
I think
it
that
was
was
really fun.
I think that was one of the keys to your victory, other than having obviously great race pace, but you was able to get on pit lane and get off pit lane really, really smooth, didn't leave any time on the table, and that allowed you to come out of pit lane with shoot almost a 6 second lead. But hearing you talk about the arrow and stuff like that, and then I heard Garrett say that you're just outright say that you're not a fan really of the cup cars. Me myself, I'm not either. I like the Xfinity cars, but you hit the nail right on the head when you're talking about aero and stuff like that with these cup cars. It's really, really finicky.
Yeah, it's just at the Daytona race, when I was leading, just got lucky and got on the pole, and it plate tracks, it's the worst. Somebody gets right there, gets past you on the high line, you just reach up and grab them on that
Right.
left rear and pull them right back, and it
Yep.
works the exact same way on these tracks, especially at Kentucky. Kentucky is a horrible track. I hate it. Because 1 and 2 you're pretty much wide open, and then 3 and 4 you're coming to a stop on older tires. So it's very frustrating, especially when you're trying to make passes and stuff. It's horrible. So anyway, I don't want to talk too much trash about it. I'm glad to get a win.
Right. Well, yeah.
Anytime I can win, in this group of guys with these racers, man, it's an accomplishment. I definitely don't take it lightly. So just glad to get another win. And yeah.
I mean, that's win number 6 for you, Eddie. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out there that make that 87 machine so fast throughout the week for you on Saturday nights?
Yeah, I want to thank my teammates at JC Motorsports. JC Race Graphics um, is always a sponsor. Jonah Colbert does paint schemes and stuff, so if anybody needs something, reach out to him. He does some of the cleanest I've ever seen. His style, my style is a little bit different. I like clean, straight, paint schemes, nothing crazy, and he does those the best. So definitely want to uh, shout out him. But yeah, Trigger Time is also on board, so glad to have them. And yeah, that's it. Thank y'all very much, man. I know y'all had some stuff going on today, man. Appreciate y'all showing up. That means a lot, and I hope we put on a show that was worth your time. So
You always do, Eddie. Excited to be back next week. That's Eddie Smith. Brought it home in the top dog spot for one more time this season. That's win number 6. Eddie Smith, congratulations from the FiveKings Network. Maybe we'll be talking to you again next week, brother.
thank you, Tanner and Jason.
Yes, sir, buddy. So there you have it, Jason. I want to go through the results page real quick. Then I'll get your final thoughts on the race, and then we will go from there. So there you see, Eddie Smith brought it home in first with Garrett Kinder second, Zach Wilson third, Jonah Colbert fourth. Pole sitter won the Peg Leg Phelps Pole Award. That's Steve Loving. Then you had Daniel Cunningham, Justin Hendry, Joey Buscemi, Brian Fine, and Tyler Gatke rounding out your top 10 finishers of the night. Kai Shepard, Mickey Isaac, Spencer Gay, Josh Smith, Justin Ray. Those are your 10th through 5th finishers, respectfully. Then finishing P16th, we have Chuck Phelps. P17, that's Cameron Combs. And bringing it home, crossing the line, just one lap down, one lap short, is number 24, Christopher Heiner. As we go on farther back into the field, we got Kyle Roberts and then William Griffin. That 12 machine had a little bit of tough luck earlier. Also finished a lap down out of Big Fish Reaper Racing. That's William Griffin riding out the top 20. Then we had Charles Stevens Jr. finishing 21st. 22nd goes to Tyler Rice. 23rd goes to Philip Manzo. That's Mr. Manzo. 24th, Sam Wetstein. 25th, Chris Reese. Dave Jones brought it home 27th. Josh Lokenfence. That was a driver we saw ripping the high lane on lap 1. He was really out there trying some different stuff. Ended up bringing his machine home P27 with Brandon Wallace. He elected to stick it out after he got some damage. It proved to be worthwhile. Finished 29th. 30th on the board is Aaron Adcock. 29th, I mean. 30th on the board is Jason Warren, Charlie Gates Jr., 31st, and T.S. Swing rounding out the field, finishing 32nd, 72 laps down, got involved in an incident that he was not able to overcome. Jason Raymond. So normally you're not going to call this series with me. You came on board this week. Let me know what you're thinking. What's your final thoughts on the race?
Yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good race, and with only 2 cautions for 3 laps, that's something to be proud of. That's not easy. I love seeing the green flag pit stops. Strategy being played out. That's always something I love watching and seeing how that can play out and make and break some races. And I also love like the how much give and take these guys showed tonight. It's like I said, 2 cautions. That's really something to be proud of. And these guys did a great job of keeping their cars pointed straight and keeping it off each other and giving each other plenty of room.
You're absolutely right. So we go from Martinsville. We came here tonight to Kentucky. August 28th. Mark your calendars. That's 150 laps at Iowa Motor Speedway. 176 laps, excuse me, 150 miles. So that will be very, very interesting. FiveKings Motorsports, the racing team. We love our short tracks. Iowa's a little bit bigger, not your typical short track, but it still races like a short track. But for that, it's been Tanner Marr, Jason Raymond in the booth. This was the Keswick Group Saturday Night Syndicate Cup Series. And until next Saturday night when we're at Iowa, live on Intensity Broadcasting, FiveKings Network, Roku and Firesook, and ES Racing TV, I do believe. Until then, we will see you next week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. God bless you all. Have a good night. See ya.